Alexandre Lepelley.
Alexandre Lepelley is a guy, Ken, that we have done our research on him. We know that this guy is a serious boxer out of France with a record of 10-1-1. He is a heavy puncher, and this guy is all business.
Well, he's certainly, as you can see coming in, he's really set for this fight. He knows he's up against a real skilled fighter. And to me, it looks like he's really, really ready so far. We know he's got a good record, so it's going to be an exciting fight.
He was able to make his way into town some time ago, so he's fully prepared. He isn't tired the way his counterpart was, but no question, he is here to fight, and he's battling a tough customer.
And his opponent, Steve Claggett.
Well, Steve Claggett, Ken, has been on Sportsnet before. It's been a while since we've been able to showcase Claggett. In fact, the last few times that we've ever seen him on Sportsnet, he's been on the undercard, but now you can see the belt that they are carrying. He holds one of the minor belts in boxing, the WBC Youth Intercontinental. But one thing about Claggett that I love, Ken, is that this guy is just simply full of skill.
Well, he is. He's one of Canada's top prospects. Hits with either hand, moves good. He always puts on a good show, well conditioned, throws a lot of punches, and he'll put pressure on you. He's not afraid to fight.
Well, let's take a look at the tail of the tape between these two boxers, and both Claggett and Lepelley are very close in stature. I guess the only thing is that Lepelley is giving up some reach advantage, also 7 years difference, but they are both very skilled fighters. We're expecting this to be one heck of a battle. It's going to be a dandy. Let's go to Dean Panis.
Ladies and gentlemen, KO Boxing, in association with Independent Jewelers, is proud to present the main event of the evening. Scheduled for 8 rounds in the welterweight division. The man in charge when the bell rings is your referee, Mr. Don Smart. And now for the fans in attendance at the Shaw Conference Center in downtown Edmonton, and our fans watching coast to coast on Sportsnet, there's only one thing left to ask. Are you ready? Introducing first to my right in the blue corner. He comes in at 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing at 143 pounds even. Wearing the black and gold trunks, he comes in with a professional boxing record of 10 victories, 1 loss, and 1 draw. From Normandy, France, Alexandre Lepelley. And introducing his opponent to my left in the red corner. He comes in at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing at 145.6 pounds. Wearing the black trunks with white trim. He comes in with a professional boxing record of 15 victories, 1 loss, and 1 draw. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Steve the Dragon Claggett.
Okay, gentlemen, I heard the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. When I say break, step back, break cleanly. Clear? Knock down, neutral corner. And remember to keep your guard up at all times. Shake hands.
That is our referee, Don Smart, who will be officiating our main event of the evening. And there are a lot of people here tonight, Ken, that are very anxious to see Steve Claggett in action. Over the past year, he has really worked hard in the Mayweather Boxing Club in Las Vegas, Ken. He's the chief sparring partner for 5-time world champ Zab Judah. Also, he's done a lot of work with Jesse Vargas, and Vargas is an unbeaten top-of-the-line prospect. So Steve Claggett really mixing it up with some super tough competitors in the world of boxing.
Well, James, that's where he's going to learn. That's where you're going to learn how to get everything down pat, get your defense down, get your speed. Look at where you're going to have to go in the future, because he's going to have to keep his hands up. He's going to have a lightning jab, just as he's shown here so far in the first round. This is what you have to have in this division: speed, speed, and more speed.
You can see right away that Lepelley is keeping his hands up, covering most of his face. Very good defense, Ken. That's one of the things that we talked about before the broadcast, is that Lepelley, we like the fact that he's very good defensively, and he's going to challenge Steve Claggett to get Claggett to get through that defense.
Well, he is, and he's fighting the style with their hands up, and he knows he's not as quick as Claggett. He knows that already, and I don't think he's as skilled as Claggett, because we can see Claggett coming out with all the different combinations so far. So he's going to have to rely on stuff like that, counter punching, body, going to the head. That looked really nice. He threw a real nice Lepelley threw a real nice right hook and left hook.
And one thing you're going to see too with Steve Claggett is that he really uses the ring to his advantage, Ken. He likes to dance around. He likes to come in, throw a few shots, move away. That's one of the talents that we've really liked about Steve Claggett since the first time we ever saw him fight.
Exactly, and he keeps his hands up, and he moves in when he jabs. He moves in. He's looking for right hands and left hooks right after it, and keeps his hands up nice too.
Good combination right there by Lepelley, going to the body of Claggett.
And see how nice and relaxed Claggett was there. When Lepelley went to the body, Claggett just nice, relaxed into a nice little crouch and took both of them on his elbows. See, nice defense by Claggett there. Beautiful. Exactly what you want to do. Now he's going to get back to his speed, back to the skill, back to the jab.
Feeling out round for both boxers. Lepelley coming out of the region of Normandy in France. And he's fought some very tough customers so far in his career at the age of 30. But Steve Claggett, he too has fought and sparred with some of the toughest customers in the world. Don't go away. Our main event continues right after this. Alexandre Lepelley through one round with Steve Claggett, Ken, and Claggett is impressive in the fact that he has really taken on a tough job in that Mayweather camp, battling as a major sparring partner with some of the world's best. And one thing is for certain, if Lepelley is going to beat Steve Claggett tonight, he is going to have to really impress the judges.
Well, he is, and he so far in his first round and a little bit, Claggett's keeping his hands up. He hasn't been getting hit by very much, and he's keeping a busy jab. By keeping that busy jab, those are points all the time, and being the aggressor like he is there, nice double jab. He always looks to mix the fight up and throws his punches together nice. But as you can see, the guy he's in with this Lepelley, he's got some skills. Keeps his hands up, punches off Claggett's punching.
Really good combination right there, Ken. One thing I've noticed about Lepelley that gets my attention right away is that when he does throw those one or two punch combinations, 2 or 3 punch combinations, is the fact that he is connecting and he's throwing some pretty good power the way of Steve Claggett.
Yeah, he's a hard puncher, and he's a dangerous fighter right now. You got to be careful. Claggett's got to keep his hands up, and Claggett's not getting hit with nothing yet, but he's got to keep his hands up. All this stuff is Claggett's defense is stopping all that stuff, and Claggett's trying to pick him apart a little bit, but Claggett should get on the outside instead of getting that jab working.
Well, this is the way Steve Claggett fights. He moves around that ring, and he does so with a lot of diversity. He's got so many skills, and he's able to punch the way he does just because it's just a great natural talent, and that is why he is at the spot where he is today. Great shots right there by Lepelley, connecting with a left hook. But Ken, the only loss on Steve Claggett's record was when he took on a fighter out of the Philippines, Romeo Jacasalem, and that turned out to be a tough fight for Steve Claggett. Claggett actually dropped Jacko Salem a couple of times in that fight, and he wasn't able to put him away, and then he ended up losing the battle in 8th round TKO. So I know that Claggett learned a lot from that loss, and he's hoping to bring that knowledge to the fight tonight.
Well, it looks like he's already, from the last time I seen him fight, his defense is much, much better. And he's getting his hands up. See, when Lepelley's throwing these punches, there a lot of the time he's hitting the gloves. As you can see, young Steve Cleggett's got his hands up, and he don't get hit with much. And that's good for being his age. To be defensively smart the way he is very important. Look at that. Keeps his hands up nice, and then obviously staying on the jab. We can see some blood.
Good.
There's a big
right there.
But we can see some blood from Lepelley's nose now. And Cleggett's starting to do a number on him.
Well, it was a thundering right hand from Lepelley at the end, Kenny, and we're starting to see that Lepelley is not scared to mix it up. If Steve Claggett wants to go toe-to-toe, he's willing to do so, and that's something that obviously Claggett has to be aware of, and he's got to make sure that that power of Lepelley doesn't come back to sting him.
Well, they just got to keep keeping his hands up. See that? Catching everything. He never hit him with nothing there. And as you watch Claggett, see that? Hands up. When you keep your hands up like that, no marks, the other guy's bleeding already. I mean, there's one he got in there, the one at the very end there. But I mean, that's the only shot that Lepelley. And see, the hands are up. He's catching them in the gloves. And that's important. It's so important to keep your hands up so you don't get all these marks all over your face. And that's what guys with good defense are hard to beat.
Well, the crowd here at the Shaw Conference Center chanting Claggett. They want to see Steve Claggett pick up a knockout against the Frenchman out of the Normandy area of France.
Seeing Claggett, I like the way he mixes his punches up. He goes with that left hook to the head, and he gets underneath. His defense is very, very good. You don't get hit very often, and Claggett mixes his punches up.
Lepelley with a good combination right there, but again, Ken, it looks really good, but the thing is, he is hitting the leather of Cleggett's gloves.
Exactly, and Claggett so far is showing really good defense, and I mean, plus he's mixing it up, so he's showing good defense under intense fire when the fire comes. See the hands up, and I can see he's really improved from his sparring in Las Vegas by keeping them hands up. Because when you go against sharpshooters like the guys he's sparring in Las Vegas, you learn to keep your hands up, because if you don't, your seat's going to be on the canvas. See that? Keeps his hands up nice and continues to pepper the Frenchman with shots.
We're seeing a lot more action of Lepelley this round too, Ken. He's throwing more punches, feeling a little bit more comfortable in the ring against Steve Claggett. And Lepelley saying beforehand that he's coming into this fight blind. There's a big shot right there. That did catch the chin of Steve Claggett. A good right hand by Lepelley.
See, I mean, Steve Claggett, he's a guy that possesses skill, but he's very, very aggressive. If ever you want to, as you watch this fight, when they finish punching, look where Cleggett's going. He goes straight forward. When they finish punching, back on the pressure. As soon as they finish any type of a confrontation here, he's right here, Claggett comes back onto him. See? Claggett pushes the fight. Claggett comes forward.
Well, Claggett said that one of the
hands up. There, nice, very good.
One of the big differences, Ken, that Claggett talked about prior to this fight is that he feels that all of the sparring in the Mayweather gym has helped him increase his power and speed. And we're seeing Steve Claggett throw some good combinations and stuff that really we haven't seen from him in the past.
Well, see, what he's doing is he keeps his hands up. He feels this guy throw punches at him, and then he starts walking the guy down. And they're coming right back to him again. Right back on him again. Mixing the fight up and putting the punches together. Keeping his hands up like that. Got to keep him up like that. Right back on him again.
Good round by both boxers. Ken, Steve Claggett sitting down after a very busy round, throwing a lot of punches. His trainer, Tony Martin, in the corner and giving instruction. Let's take a look at some of that action from our last round. And you take a look at Alexandre Lepelley, and he's throwing lots of punches too, Ken. And right there, we just saw 3 punches where he connects. An uppercut that gets just grazes Claggett, but Lepelley is getting through that defense at times, and he's showing a success rate where he wasn't getting through in the first couple of rounds. He did get through that round, but and then Steve Claggett comes back, Ken, and he just throws multiple punches.
Well, Lepelley is getting in a little bit more in this round, but if you notice, he's getting in, but all the punches are grazing. They're all grazing or hitting gloves. So, hey, had thumbs up to Claggett for his defense. Big improvement on defense.
How do you got it so far, Kenny, on your scorecard?
Well, I got it 30 to 28 for Claggett. I got Claggett winning 2 out of the first 3 and 1 round to draw. So I got Claggett 30 to 28. And Claggett, of course, he keeps the jab going, and as soon as the fight stops, look, starts marching him down. And that's important. That's important. Stays on him behind a nice jab. Makes the fight happen.
Well, Claggett has been the aggressor since the start of this fight, which is very important when it comes to the judges' scorecards. You know, if you are the aggressor, you're backing up your opponent, you're throwing lots of punches. Chances are at the end of the round, things are going to go in your favor. Alexandre Lepelley has done a very good job of countering, especially in that last round, Ken. You have to be impressive with his countering because he is taking quite a few jabs and quite a few punches from Claggett, but Lepelley is able to counter, which is key.
Well, Lepelley is fighting the fight as he's moving back. Because, as you can see, every time they do exchanges, on comes Claggett again behind a jab. But Lepelley's defense has been good so far. He's not really hitting a lot. He's hitting gloves lots, but Claggett keeps coming to him, keeps throwing the leather. Nice uppercut. Yep. Nice uppercut but you see, that's with the punches you got to be careful of because Claggett, see, keeps coming, keeps mixing the fight up. He keeps coming forward. And good on him. But his jab, he's got to keep using his jab to stay on him with that jab.
Another nice right hand by Lepelley, but Steve Claggett very focused on, again, being the aggressor in this round. Another good right hand. It seems like that's the only punch, Ken, that Lepelley seems to be scoring with is that right hand. He is getting it through on occasion.
But there's a big question mark. Is he really scoring with these? Because a lot of the times, as you can see, Claggett's got the hands up. So he's really hitting gloves. He's not so much hitting Claggett. And if you watch it closely, Claggett's hands are up.
Only 30 seconds to go here in the 4th round of our main event. Glad you could join us here on Sportsnet. James Monsees along with 2-time Canadian heavyweight champ Ken Lacusta. Nice right hand again by Lepelley. It looks good. He's catching leather, but Kenny, it's very impressive here at ringside. You know, it's hard to really see from that perspective if Lepelley is actually hitting the gloves or not. Seconds to go here in round number 4. And it has been a dandy so far, folks. Don't go away. More of our main event coming your way after this. Well, this is not a title fight, Ken Lacusta, but we certainly have the feeling of a title fight here tonight at the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta. Steve Claggett battling a very tough customer in Alexandre Lepelley out of France, and both boxers are throwing lots of punches. This is really Ken, a tough fight to score because there's lots of action, and you really have to pay attention as to how each boxer is hitting each other.
Well, so far we started this 5th round, and Claggett's jab has been all over him, and he's been the aggressor, and he's keeping his hands up. I mean, I really tip my hat to Claggett to this point in the fight. He's fought a great fight, and he's smart, and you can see the Las Vegas is really showing in Claggett right now. Good defense, good jab, and the aggressor. Hands up nice there, and looking to start everything up again, going back on Lepelley, going right back to him, and mixing things up pretty good too.
Claggett again with another great two-punch combination. We're used to seeing that out of Steve Claggett, but one thing that we haven't been used to seeing is the speed that he is throwing those punches at, and also moving out of the way of other punches. Alexandre Lepelley is going to have to try to corner Steve Claggett to score, because Claggett so far has been very impressive in getting out of the way of some of those big shots that the Frenchman is trying to throw at him.
Impeccable defense by Claggett so far. I mean, there's not a mark in his face. Look at that. He keeps the hands up, then he goes right back to him, catches him with the left hook there, right back on him again, hands up. And he knows, when Lepelley throws 2-3 punches, where does Claggett go? Hands up and pushes back into his chest again. And it's funny. It's funny to watch Claggett. He likes to mix it up. He's a kid that you think would box like Sugar Ray Leonard, but he likes to fight you a bit like Holyfield. He's got a bit of Leonard in him and a little bit of Holyfield. He likes to fight, but he can also box. But look at that defense. Just great defense.
Good right hand right there by Lepelley. It does get through and hits the head of Claggett. Lepelley goes to the body and then an overhand right. This has been actually a very good back and forth round, Kenny.
Yeah, it has. This is a heated bout, and you got to remember, you got to watch how that Claggett's using his defense and being the aggressor. Right after the quick punching, he goes right back to him with a double jab right hand, and he stays on him. You don't let him out.
Well, that is going to do it for round number 5. More professional boxing after this. Welcome back to the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm James Monsees, along with former two-time Canadian heavyweight champ Ken Lacusta. Glad to bring you professional boxing. Steve Claggett out of Calgary. The fans are chanting his name, taking on Alexandre Lepelley out of France. And this has been a very good fight so far, Ken. Two guys who are just battling away and throwing lots of punches.
Yeah, it's been a really good fight so far to this point. Both guys don't want to lose. I really like the tenacity of this of Claggett. He's probably one of our best prospects in Canada. I really like the way he fights. And this kid can look beautiful. A triple left hook, comes back with 2 or 3 more. Busy with his jab. I mean, what more can you do than what young Claggett's doing right now? Like the chances of this guy becoming a very, very good fighter. Got all the tools. Look at his face. Got the defense. Wiggles, squirms. Likes to move. Got lots of speed. Good balance. I mean, he's going to go back after this fight, go back to Las Vegas and keep training. He's really improved since the last time I've seen him.
Well, #1 lightweight in all of Canada, lightweight, welterweight, whatever division you want to number him in. He is #1 ranked in all of Canada. And like I say, being a holder of one of the lower WBC belts, a youth intercontinental, but Steve Claggett on his way up the ladder in the world of boxing. But first he's got to get through 30-year-old Alexandre Lepelley out of France.
Well, we see lots of blood coming down Lepelley's face now, and it looks like it's going to just keep getting worse for the Frenchman, because Claggett's really pushing the issue now. He's being very aggressive. See that little jump in his step there? His offense is really coming on here, and he's not getting hit with a lot. So he likes to go after this Lepelley and back him up. 3, 4, 5 punches together. And not that he's throwing hard punches right now. He's just kind of minding his defense and pecking away at this Lepelley, trying to open up a cut, because he's got him bleeding pretty good right now.
That's one thing, Ken, that we really haven't seen out of Steve Claggett so far tonight, is that he hasn't demonstrated any big power so far. Does that concern you at all?
Well, being a young man, what I like so far is the aggressiveness in him and the jump in his step. Like, he snaps his punches. Look at his defense. Like, I mean, this guy is very, very hard to hit. And when you do get a punch in there, he's got his hands up. Look at that. And the other boy, face all marked up. I mean, what we like to see in boxing is guys outpoint the other guys, and Claggett is really doing a number to this point in the fight.
Claggett standing right in there, and Lepelley comes back with a good shot to end the round. So we've got 6 rounds in the book, and that was a very good round for Steve Claggett, showing us again, Ken, that he is a world-class puncher, able to basically jab and move and stay out of the way of trouble, as we can see in these replays. He's throwing jabs, and Lepelley is blocking some of those, but as always, Steve Claggett trying to do something different to turn his opponent into, just change things up to make him think differently.
Well, every time we see the replays here, Claggett's doing the punching, and Lepelley's doing the getting hit. And when Lepelley throws punches, he's missing. This young fella here is our best prospect in Canada. He's hardly even breathing. He's a great, great conditioner, and I really like what I've seen so far. Look at the face of the Lepelley. It's all banged up. He's been getting hit with everything, and Claggett just keeps dishing it out. Doesn't have a mark.
Round number 7. Let's go to Ken Lacusta's scorecard.
Well, after 6 rounds, I've pretty got Claggett almost winning every round. He's won 5 of the 6. He's showed his boxing ability is really standing out here. He's faster. He's keeping his hands up and hitting him with almost everything he wants. The Frenchman's face is all banged up, and when the Frenchman throws punches back, he's hitting nothing but gloves or air. So I really got Claggett winning this fight handily. And I love what I see here. I love the confidence in a young man, 22 years old, sitting right in there with a 30-year-old man, a veteran from France, in a main event here in Edmonton. It's nice to see that our young Canadian guys have come this far. It's an impeccable boxing number he's doing to this point.
Steve Claggett, of course, has gained a lot of notoriety south of the border as well with the work that he has done in the Mayweather gym. And, it's so great to see him back in Canada again fighting, Ken. And, he is taking on a tough customer in Lepelley. But so far, Steve Claggett showing us that he really has improved defensively and has done a great job tonight, making sure that he's doing the right things, and hopefully it shows on the judges' scorecards.
Well, I really like it with the old-time boxing people say, it's not what you make, it's what you leave. And if you're not leaving nothing, obviously you're making something. And that's where the area that Claggett has really improved. He's not given Lepelley very much. Everything Lepelley is doing is hitting gloves. There's no solid shots here. Nothing's hitting on anything. And I mean, Claggett is keeping his hands up. And that's really being helping Claggett when you got the hand. There's nothing to hit there. And when he does have something to hit, watch him move into the safe zone. And when he hits, he's catching him. He's catching the Frenchman. So, I mean, I really like what I see in Claggett. What an improvement. What a great prospect we got coming up here from Calgary, Alberta.
Great right hand right there.
Hands up, though. Hands up all the time. Really good defense by Claggett.
And the only part of Steve Claggett's face that they were working on in between rounds, Kenny, was his left, above his left eye, and that is where Lepelley has been able to get that right hand through, and he's thrown a lot of big right hands, and that's really the only thing that's gotten through so far tonight.
Exactly. Look how this Claggett keeps coming on. He reminds me of a young Boom Boom Mancini. You don't punch the Lewis, hangs in there, takes him 2 big shots, and comes right back onto him. That's what we want to see. Good defense and that aggressiveness under control that Claggett's showing. That takes you sometimes 20, 30 fights to be able to do.
We are done 7 rounds. We will go to the 8th and final after this.
8th and final round of the evening.
Well, here we go. Alexandre Lepelley taking on Steve the Dragon Claggett out of Calgary, training out of Las Vegas, out of the Mayweather gym. This is the final round, and no doubt, Ken, that both boxers have done a very good job working hard against each other. Steve Claggett definitely showcasing better defense than what we've seen from him in the past.
Claggett has fought an excellent fight. The Frenchman's face is all banged up to this point. Claggett, I don't think he's got a mark in his face. Impeccable defense. Real nice job with his defense. And I like the aggressiveness of Claggett. And when Lepelley throws punches, our Canadian fellow's got his hands up. They're not getting through. And I love his aggressiveness. Look at this. He's in such control. He's so confident. He moves forward. He's relaxed. And he punishes this French fellow. He's punishing him as he's moving forward. I really like what I see. Complete control. I really like it. You can see that he's been in with a couple of veteran fighters because of that confidence. And when you get confidence, guess what happens to you? You move forward and you let your skill go to work.
And that's what we've seen from Steve Claggett the entire fight, Ken, is the fact that he has done exactly what he's done right through round number 1 to round number 8, is that he's not standing around. He is throwing punches. He's moving around the ring. He's using the ring to his advantage. And the fans again chanting Claggett's name. They would love to see a knockout here tonight.
Well, what I can see so far is really, really good defense by Claggett. Look at these punches coming in there. None of them are getting through. And it's nice to see that he really learned a lot when he was down there in Las Vegas. He learned to keep his hands up, keep the pressure on. That's Las Vegas style. Skill and pressure. And you know the Frenchman here is fighting in desperation. He knows that he's behind in points. He's got to really come on. And he's trying to do everything he can right now. And Claggett's got to keep his hands up and just keep working.
Alexandre Lepelley throwing lots of head-hunting punches, but he can't connect. Steve Claggett throwing his gloves up in defense. What a great final round it's been, folks. These two guys going toe-to-toe in this final round, trying to convince the judges that they're worthy of the victory.
Well, looks like the Lepelley woke up a little bit, and he realizes that he's really going to have a big round here, and he's really not hitting a lot, but at least he's being more aggressive in trying to.
Really good uppercut there by Steve Claggett. I don't know if you caught it, Ken, but Claggett really showcasing some great punching skills in the 8th round, and really showing us too, Ken, that his conditioning has paid off.
Exactly. Claggett's defense and conditioning and his sharp shooting has really done him a lot of good in this fight, that's for sure.
What a final finish to a great fight here on Sportsnet. Don't go away, folks. We have got the final decision in a couple of minutes. Turned out to be a great main event. Alexandre Lepelley out of France battling Steve Claggett out of Calgary. And Kenny, what's your final decision?
Well, I got Claggett well ahead in this fight. I've got it 80-74 for Claggett. As you can see, the French fellow's face is all marked up. He's banged up pretty good. But hey, he fought a tough fight tonight. There's no doubt about it. But Claggett well ahead on the scorecard, on my scorecard.
Well, Steve Claggett showing us tonight some great defense. Obviously, the speed is there, always has been, Ken. And that's one thing that we've always enjoyed about watching Steve Claggett, is the fact that he showcases great speed. He's improved his defense. As we see in the replay here, Lepelley was able to get through some of that defense with only his right hand tonight, really what we could spot, Ken.
Well, yeah, he a lot of air balls. He had a lot of gloves. And he wasn't really successful at heading Claggett with much of anything. Mostly just pushing him around. And the last round was probably Lepelley's best round by far.
And of course, you see Steve Claggett right there calling on Lepelley to give him more, because you know that Steve Claggett felt a lot of confidence in his defensive ability, and right there Claggett is throwing lefts and rights and connecting to the head of Lepelley where his gloves are in front of him. A nice uppercut right there too. So really Ken, a good effort on behalf of Lepelley, but Steve Claggett looking very, very good tonight. Let's go into the ring, and Dean Panis.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get our official decision, let's give it up one more time for these two young men for one hell of a